Hey awesome friends, I am Awesome Danny. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you about the Aful Performer 1. What do you mean that's not what it's called? They had the Performer 5 and then the Performer 8 and then this should be the Performer 1. Then what is it called? MagicOne? Aful MagicOne. Now that just sounds like a personal massager or something. Fine, whatever. My apologies, guys. Aful MagicOne. So this is a single balanced armature set. Pretty unique. I don't see a lot of these. I've actually only tried one other balanced armature set this year, which was just a KB ear random set that was okay. Maybe I'll mention it in another video. Anyways, so again, single balanced armature set. This was actually sent in by the homie Jaytiss. I'll link his channel in the description below. Please go ahead and check out his channel if you want some up-to-date coverage on a lot of like newer stuff. He's been covering a lot of new sets as they're released, so go ahead and go check that out and make sure you let him know that we appreciate him supporting the channel here. Thank you, Jay, you're awesome. All right, back to the MagicOne. So the MagicOne is a single balanced armature set, just one BA in there, and we'll rant about the single BA configuration later in the video. So it runs at $139.99, so $140 for a single balanced armature set, which again, we'll talk about that later. You get a good amount of accessories. I don't have them here because obviously it was just the cable and the IMs and themselves that were sent. You get 2 different sets of ear tips, 3 pairs in each set. So you get small, medium, large, and 2 different types of silicone tips. You get the usual Aful little hockey puck case. It's like some sort of metal, and then the lid just pops off like that. I really like this case. I have a couple other similar cases and I use them for a lot of stuff when I'm on the go. They're pretty rugged and somewhat slim, so easy to carry. The build and quality overall is pretty good. Like the shell is not only gorgeous, but it's built well, very ergonomic, and it's just comfortable. The cable is also a nice robust feeling cable, but not too much of memory or kinks, and it's not that heavy. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but it's not that heavy. It wasn't an issue, especially with the nice, snug, comfortable fit of the shells themselves. The packaging, everything is good. Overall, solid package. I'm not buying, and you're not definitely just buying a pair of IMs. So for $140, you expect good quality build and good accessories to come along with the set, which we're getting here. It's all good. So now just a touch on the single BA part. One balanced armature. Oh, $140. It's so much. Well, just judging on the build and the performance, it's okay. There is a lot of stiff competition in that price bracket right now. Just like anything over $100 but under $200, there's a lot of really good sets there that you can go up or down a little bit in price, and you can get some really solid stuff. Like, I mean, $10 more, you can get something like the Nova, which I personally feel like is slightly overpriced also, but overall I felt like a better value than the MagicOne. So I'm not a scientist, an engineer, or smart people, you know. I'm just like, overall, I don't understand what goes into getting something like this to my door. So a single BA, this feels like it's doing something completely different than other ones, at least based on what the community consensus is, and also my limited experience with one other single BA set. They're not just shoving one BA into a shell and calling it a day. there's some other stuff going on there, and it does result in some unique sound characteristics, which it might pave the way for some cool stuff going forward. Just my 2 cents. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the sound breakdown. Now, starting off with the overall tuning signature of this, it's like a warm neutral. Kind of reminded me of the Soft Ears Twilight. There's a few other sets that were kind of similar. It just felt like there's a lot of lower end thickness and richness, but it's not over exaggerated. Like, there isn't a big sub bass boost that you usually get with a lot of these bassier or warm sets, but there is some sacrifices in the tuning because of it. So touching on the bass, sub bass isn't boosted. It's almost like a neutral sub bass, but it is almost even going into the mid bass, and then it slightly dips into the mid bass. But because of this, there is still a little bit of rumble. You know, you get that sub bass present under the impact of the sub bass and the mid bass. So the impact is there, but because it is a lower rumble, it feels like you get that initial impact, and then it leaves a little bit of want after. Like, you get ready, you get that impact, it hits, but then it's like not much behind it after the fact. So overall, warm, good richness there, good substance in the mid bass, lower mids. It's just the sub bass doesn't hit as well. Well, it hits, but there isn't much after, at least in my preference. All right, now going into the mids. So mids aren't as clean as, you know, something like the usual weekly Harman set we get nowadays. So there isn't that tuck in the mid bass, which adds a lot of fullness to your mids. So a lot of male vocals are really nice and full instead of being just neutral or dead. And a lot of instruments there as well have that resonance. Just makes it feel very rich and satisfying. Gives it more of an intimate presentation in that mid range, where in busier stuff or some other type of genres, you don't get much separation in there. It can feel a little congested, a little claustrophobic, and it being a single BA, I feel like doesn't help that very much. And for female vocals, there is a little bit of upper mid range gain, not a lot. So they do sound a little flatter than I would prefer, but they come across as very natural. Flatter, less intensity, but more natural and effortless. So some people might enjoy that. Now for the treble. So treble is very smooth. There's a decent amount of extension there, and it comes across as very natural, pretty much neutral. So things, again, just sound authentic. They're real. And I believe that contributes to the overall rich but natural timbre that the MagicOne has. So a lot of live stuff is pretty great. A lot of band stuff is pretty great too. Not like, you know, metal or fast, energetic stuff, but just like the more chill, mellow stuff. A lot of orchestral strings. It's just rich, natural, and real. And I believe that was the strength of the MagicOne. It's just authentic and very subtle about it. So it's not a set that when I first put it on was wowing. It's more of like, once I got to know it better, I was able to appreciate the little nuanced approach it had to a lot of the timbre stuff. It didn't play K-pop that great. It was missing a lot of sub bass for me, and the intensity in the upper mid range where you get a lot of that energy wasn't there. But again, like, I took it into the Star Wars movie soundtrack or Destiny 2 gaming soundtrack, stuff like that. It did very, very well. And then some of the more acoustic, natural tracks that I listened to, it was just really pleasant to enjoy. So timbre is pretty great. It reminded me a lot of flat-headed earbuds in the way the timbre presentation was. And the sound overall, it just sounds like the sound is kind of distant, and overall it makes it feel a little bit more diffused by the time it got to my eardrum, which might have something to do with the treble presentation and the overall sound that I got out of the MagicOne, which was really cool. Again, this set I would recommend to people that enjoy their timbre, enjoy, you know, authentic sound. They chase the real sound instead of text. Texts were okay. I mean, details were okay. Separation was okay. Everything was pretty much under price point. This is definitely a tuning over technicalities set. So if that sounds like you, I would encourage you to check these out. If you want that richness, if you value that real sound and naturalness over, you know, separation and imaging and all that stuff, which is okay still. That's all okay here, but that's not what the set is trying to do. And for comparisons, it's a little difficult to compare in this price range because, like I said, there is competition, but it's not diverse. There's just a few solid good sets at around 150, like the Nova, but it's not even what this is trying to be. Nova is Harman, more technical, you know, more modern style music friendly, while this is more rich, full timbre focused. It's just a very different approach. This has a very sophisticated and refined sound, while other sets, you know, try to go for performance. They both do it well. So just another option for you to keep your eye out for. Rec rating. So we recently implemented a rec rating. Just to recap on that again, it is from 0 to 3. 0 is do not recommend at all. Overall, not a good set that I wouldn't feel comfortable with you guys buying at any price or even owning. Like, it's just not worth it. 1 is a niche set that is okay at what it does, but there's better things that do what the same thing and probably at a more affordable price. While 2 is solid set that just needs a little bit more value. So best to demo and wait for a sale. And then 3 is amazing set, worth the MSRP, go demo, and if it fits your preference, buy it because it has the value. So this set is an easy 2 for me. Wait for a sale. If you can get it close to $100, it'd be great. Like I said, it's a tuning over technicality set. It's very easy to appreciate if that's what you're into. There is still some shortcomings, but overall build, accessories, the packaging, everything is very good. And the sound that it's trying to deliver, it's actually pretty good. And it's actually quite unique in that regard as well. So if you pick this up, there's not going to be much at this price that will be similar to it in your collection. So that's it. Aful Performer 1. MagicOne. Sorry. The MagicOne. $140. Is it for you? Might be. All right, well, that's it for tonight, guys. And until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye.